Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crosstalk episode 29. I'm your host, Mike Payne, and I'm here with Drew Krag.
What's up, world?
What's up, Drew? What's going on, man?
Not much. Same old shit, different date.
Yeah, I like your t-shirt, man.
Thanks.
Very cool.
I like it.
Is that a medium?
No, actually, it is a large.
It's large? Okay, cool.
I just haven't washed it yet.
No, at least not with warm water.
Yeah.
Cool. And Grizzly Adams.
Come on, Bear.
What's going on, buddy? All right, so this week we're going to catch up on the listening test we had in episode number 28. We're going to check out what software synths or software samplers and romplers we use for that test. And additionally, we're going to do another one this week with brass, and that should be pretty telling, pretty interesting. So we will check that out. Next, we'll try out the Blue Cat Audio FreqAnalyst Pro, which is a freeware. Actually, the Pro is not a freeware, but there is a freeware version of that frequency analyzer available as DirectX or VST. Also, we got a distortion pedal to play with, blah, blah, blah. The Fender Blender, we're going to check that out. And fortunately, we got Drew Krag right next to us who's going to play some guitar on that. And I bet it's going to be amazing. I bet he's going to do some finger stuff at the end. Guarantee it.
This guy really likes to talk me up.
I do. I mean, it's easy.
I want to hear some pinched harmonics, personally.
Yeah?
Never. I'm never going to do any of those things.
I foresee it happening.
Whatever.
It's going to happen.
Whatever.
All right. So, stay tuned and check out this episode. It should be a lot of fun. Also, before we get started, got to pay the bills. Actually, there aren't any, but we're going to pay them anyway. Be sure to send us an email if you want to talk. Send us an email at crosstalk@gearwire.com. We love hate mail. Send as much as you got. And additionally, check out the forums at forums.gearwire.com, and we will play. We are going to pick up something we started on the last episode, number 28, when we did an orchestral synth sample listening test.
Little shootout.
We listened to a bunch of some lovely, lovely church music that Mr. Dan Augusto himself wrote, and we tried to figure out which was which, and, well, we actually didn't, but...
Well, yeah. This was basically a very vanilla test just to see which people like the best. And
as opposed to a very kinky test.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, we had some response. We had about 11 people get on the forums and vote for which one they wanted the best. And
wait, all 11 of our viewers got involved?
No, we have hundreds of people who watch the show.
Right.
It's just a lot of people just don't want to get involved for
Right.
one reason or another. But definitely, if you do get a chance, go to our forums, go to the Crosstalk section. It's it's pretty close to the bottom.
Yeah.
And we'll have one up for this brass one as well. And that will hopefully we'll get a better response to that one.
Nice,
It was pretty good though. A lot of
Yeah.
people looked at it. A lot of people looked at it, and a lot of people I think downloaded the samples and actually listened. Just didn't take the time to vote. But we did have most of the people voted for 3, which
Okay.
is what you liked, and
Right.
I believe you liked as well.
Right.
A few people voted for 2, and a few people voted for 4, which
Okay.
is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So let's listen back, and I'll tell you guys which ones are which. Okay, so we don't
Was
need
that
to
number
listen to all
3?
of them. That was number 1.
Okay.
That was actually the Roland XV5050.
Not
Pretty
bad.
surprising. Yeah,
Not
not
bad.
bad for a Rompler synth from
Right.
the 90s. Okay, and here's the second one. And that was actually the EWSQL Silver Edition.
Huh.
A lot of people actually noticed that because they knew that the EWSQL actually has like panning built
Right,
into it.
right.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
it sounds
mention
Yeah,
like
I
actual
own that
orchestra.
one, and
Yeah.
I wasn't even able to tell. I guessed it was going to be number 2 or number 3, but I couldn't discern.
A few people were able to guess that on well, one person guessed it on our forum, another
Okay.
person guessed it on a different forum.
Nice.
You can definitely hear like the spread.
Yeah,
of the
you
strings.
can hear the spread.
Yeah.
And then the next one is the one that pretty much everyone liked the best. That one actually had, the best sort of, I think, low end punch, which what
Yep.
people liked
The
about
warmth really stood out
That
to
was
that
the
one.
VSL.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you guys like that one the best.
That's pretty apparent.
But of course, it's a smaller library. This is just the one that comes with complete 3, I believe.
Okay.
So it's not anywhere near the full VSL library, but
Right.
it's a nice sample.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, and let's do the next one. That was the ME100R,
Okay.
the oldest
Yeah.
of the Romplers.
It's really
kinda
not
tell.
that
You can kinda
bad
tell.
for
It's not
really
bad.
what it is. I mean,
And what I noticed is it's not actually a true stereo sample, which was interesting. What they actually did, there's some sort of chorusing effect going on.
Okay.
So that's what kind of gives it that little cheaper, older feel.
You can hear it really in the lower registers of notes, you know.
Definitely. All right, number 5. I'm not sure about you, but that was my least favorite.
Okay.
That was the motif.
Wow.
Almost sounds like there was some oohs and ahs mixed in there somewhere.
Yeah, it sounded very synthetic, and I've actually read on certain places where they review synths that pretty much everything about the motif everyone loves except for the pads.
Yeah.
And I think this is sort of an illustration of that.
Nice.
All right, and then number 6, we could probably by process of elimination know what this is. Muse. Sonovox Muse.
Yep.
I didn't like the attack on that one.
See, I didn't like the attack on the fourth one.
Mm-hmm. The ME100R.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about the Sonovox Muse is that, see, I was feeding the exact same MIDI through all of these.
Okay.
And it's not exactly scientific, but with some sort of extra, MIDI, extra time spent, you could probably make that sound pretty good. It's just right out of the patch, just the blank patch, vanilla patch. Didn't really have the type of attack for that sort of section.
Gotcha.
But maybe for a different type of piece.
Right.
Mini piece.
It's got kind of a gritty, kind of low mid to it. I was noticing.
It does. It's definitely not my favorite for that. And of course, Sonovox is sort of a do-it-all.
Yeah.
Or the Muse is sort of a do-it-all sample set.
Yeah.
They have other orchestral sample sets that would be used for that, but Muse at least has that.
Right. I also want to commend you on your composition. I think that you could definitely get a job writing music for Japanese role-playing games. I think that just it's a perfect fit.
That's the plan right
That's where you're going with it. I like it.
All right. So just take a few seconds to...
I'll make some calls, see what I can work out for you.
Well, last time you guys were saying, last time I did something like that, or actually the first time I did something like that, you said I could get a job in Bollywood. And the second time was that video game piece.
Right.
All right.
I like that. All right, so next up, we've got another orchestral sample listening test. This week, we'll be checking out brass samples across the same 3 hardware romplers and 3 software samplers we tried before. With any sample sets, brass is typically the most telling, as it is where most samplers fail. Let's see who can stand up to our listening test this week on brass samples. Let's check it out.
All right, here's number 1.
All right. Wow, I'm impressed by that one. I'm impressed.
Not too bad. Throw a little reverb on it. And, you got
it is
yourself.
dry. Yeah,
that first note, was that the brown tone?
it might have been. Are you all right?
I'm okay.
Do you
I'm okay.
Do you
What's
need to
that
clean
smell?
Can you guys hang on a minute? I'll be right back.
All right. So number 2.
Cut. Just kidding. Go on.
Number 2.
Boo.
You didn't like that one?
No.
I'm having a headphone problem.
In fact, you can sample me saying boo in a bunch of different pitches,
Boo.
and then put that MIDI to it.
Boo,
Yeah.
boo, boo, boo,
I'll do that for next week.
Okay, that'll be number 7.
So what didn't you like about that one?
Play it again really quick, just
Yes.
the first couple seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, those higher trumpets just sound.
The attack sounded more realistic on the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
I think the first one did sound a lot more real too.
Yeah. I like the trumpets on that a lot better. They sounded, very real. The tuba was a little,
Yeah, it was a little weak.
yeah,
Wasn't
But
strong
I
there.
like those trumpets quite a bit.
Definitely. Cool. So that was number 3.
They sound real, but I don't know how well they sound recorded. It sounds like you can't do too much to them, unless does that software have reverb within it?
For this test, I kind of turned off reverb for the Romplers because all the patches in Romplers, I don't know.
But that software sampler had reverb in it?
It probably did have some reverb in it.
Oh, I just got you to tell me that it's a sampler, a soft sampler.
I mean, it could have been a Rompler with some reverb on the sample too.
Okay.
So
Touche.
hard to tell. All right. So that was number 3.
Mike Payne.
Here's number 4.
Software private investigator.
Who loves you, baby?
I am just stunned by the realism there.
Yeah. That one had some reverb on it.
But I mean, that I like. What was that, number 4?
That's 4.
That would be good. Like different applications. I think that one was a little bit more like in your face.
It sounded kind of like pop brass almost.
It sounded like a different dynamic of sample. Like maybe it was mezzo forte as opposed to piano forte. Or,
yeah, that's true too.
Whatever. But I would use that one more in like something that's a little bit louder, where the first one had that more kind of quiet, almost like French. What is it? Flugelhorn or what is it? French horn? Is that
French horn. Yeah.
It had
a lot more French horn in it. It did.
Oh, well, there you go.
Definitely.
See,
this one I thought was a little fake sounding.
See, I didn't know we were going to use the synth from the Nintendo 64. I didn't know that was one of our 6.
Well, which one do you think that would be then?
The old Yamaha.
The ME100R?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see about that.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we'll see about that.
Was that number 4 or 5?
That was number 4.
Okay, here's 5.
I liked it.
I like the lower, what is that, the trombone or trumpet? Trombone or tuba.
I believe it was a tuba, yeah.
I like the tuba sample.
I was a trombone player for a long time.
So you know the bones.
I do know the bones very well. Very well. No, that was a tuba, but the attack was kind of slow on that. I don't know if that was default or if you can actually edit that
for most of these
within that sampler.
For most samplers and romplers, there's different attack settings. There's different patches in the romplers. In the samplers, you can just choose different samples, of course, that have different attack. I chose the most vanilla attack I could find. Yeah, just something that fit across the board.
Okay, gotcha.
I like that one.
Yeah, it was good. It was
just
good.
the tuba
very dry
side of it. Yeah,
very dry.
The tuba side of it.
You just need some reverb on it.
Yeah.
All right. 6.
Motif.
Okay. Your guess is the motif.
Yes, my guess is the motif.
All right. I think this one sounds pretty real. Not as real as some of the other ones, but it's kind of something like you'd hear like Vangelis use or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
He kind of has a little bit more digital edge to it, or just some sort of synthetic edge to it. I think that can be really nice, but isn't completely.
Got to make it work.
Yeah. It's not completely convincing.
I could be wrong about my guess, but I own the EX5.
You definitely could be.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Fair enough.
All right, so as with last week's program, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
As with the last program, we're going to have these samples up for download at full frequency 48K 24-bit. So you'll be able to listen to them yourselves. You could also, just listen to this show and it's not going to be as high quality if you listen to it with the movie, but you can still take a guess if you'd like. Go to our forums; there'll be another sticky, and please vote because we really like to get some feedback going on how our viewers feel about different sounds.
Yeah, those of you who took place in the last one, thanks a lot. I hope that was fun.
Oh, and actually, special thanks go out to Creations, who actually took the MIDI sample that I had and put it through the Philharmonic, the Miroslav Philharmonic.
Nice. Okay.
Those sounded pretty nice. He did 2 different patches with that, and then also Dimension Pro, the Cakewalk Dimension Pro, and also an Edirol VSC, I believe.
Gotcha.
And so if you want to hear those as well, those are on the sticky for the string ensemble test. You
know what we should do when we do another orchestral listening test like this? See if we can get the if somebody can choose them all correctly. See if we can get them a copy of like East West Quantum Silver.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. We'll see if we can hook it up. Maybe we'll have to call our friends at East West or your friend at VSL.
There you go. There you go. Cool. All right. Oh, and if anybody wants to use the music that Dan wrote for each of those samples in their Japanese role-playing game, they are available for license, and I will take a cut of that for a finder's fee. But
get a hold of us at Crosstalk at Gearwire.com.
Yes.
If you'd like to purchase.
Exactly. Or Japanese RPG at Gearwire.com.
Yeah. Let's set that one up.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. Blue Cat Audio's FreqAnalyst Pro is a very cool and very free little frequency analyzer. FreqAnalyst is not only an accurate frequency analyzer, but it has some interesting functionality, like the ability to export signal data as MIDI, allowing for some interesting creative effects. Let's dig into that.
Yeah, so let's take a look at FreqAnalyst.
The FreqAnalyst.
And I did a video on this already, so we won't go.
Okay.
And there is actually another one coming out. There's a lot of features in this. But it's just a slick looking plugin. Overall, I think that's the biggest thing about it. Other analysts don't always look as good for this cheap.
Yeah.
So we'll just play back something real quick. Here's the spectrum view. You can offset basically the loudness, so you can move it to a spot where it's easier for you to see. You can type in different levels for different things. Spectrogram is probably my favorite view.
Nice.
Everyone likes that. You don't get that in every analyzer. And output. This is basically telling you the pitch center of basically each of your channels. So now it's getting silent, so it's kind of freaking out. But if we go back, it's just telling you what's going on in each channel as far as pitch data.
Right.
And then they're summed together, and as long as you see they're pretty similar, you're doing all right. And pretty similar thing over here. It's summing together the all the different frequencies and telling you where the average, where the most energy is across both channels, and it kind of jumps around. So it's getting lower, you see. So it gets, when it's down there, that means that the whole spectrum is sounding, bassier.
Right, gotcha.
So
that's cool.
If you want your average to be around 500 hertz, you can kind of use this to EQ it that way.
Nice.
So we won't go too in depth right now, but this brings up an interesting subject. And if you guys use frequency analyzer or anything like this, visual aids to help you do any sort of your work.
I generally don't. Most of the work that I do is, like I said before, it's hip hop. Mm-hmm. And when I'm composing an instrumental, generally I'm working with samples and things like that, and I don't have to really get into anything like this until I get down to the master. So in that sense, it could be pretty valuable for me, but I just haven't gotten into it. Part of the reason is I haven't wanted to spend money on one. Yeah. And this kind of solves that. Yeah,
this is a pretty affordable one. I believe you can buy like all their plugins for like $300-something.
Nice.
And
there is a free version of this.
Just FreqAnalyst.
Yeah.
And there's also like digital peak meter.
Okay.
And there's a pro version of that. They do have some free plugins. Yeah, definitely one of the cool things you can do with this is set a parameter to to record basically an envelope data, and then you can assign that data to anything else. So you can kind of use it to basically write a fader for you.
Cool. Nice.
What about you, Drew? Do you use?
I don't use it primarily for like mixing or anything like that. I do use frequency analyzers for actually figuring out what any sort of bias that my rooms have. I record in a lot of various types of rooms, from like dead rooms to medium-sized live rooms to very large live rooms. And what I'll do is I'll just take a very clean, dry signal of an instrument and then record the same instrument in a big room, and then run them both through the frequency analyzer and see what frequencies become biased, see what frequencies pop out. Mm-hmm. And then I know a little bit more about the room I'm dealing with and how to record in it, and more importantly, how to fix it.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool deal. One thing that might be kind of cool to do is that you could do with a frequency analyzer like this is you could record, say, an impulse response. You guys know
right.
Impulse responses.
Absolutely.
Record one for a nice room, like the sweet spot between the speakers in a nice mixing room, and then bring that to your studio, play it back, freeze the data that comes up, and then you can open up another frequency analyzer and use that to move your room EQ. To EQ for your
Interesting.
room.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
so you can
is.
make your room sound.
Definitely. There's all sorts of things in here. There's a zoom feature that lets you really move into to the frequencies that you want to look at, and it gets pretty precise as well. You can control the precision to be low, so you can sort of see how your ears would hear it, but you could also turn it up really high and be really critical and really like sort of scientific about it.
Right.
Because when there's like tiny little peaks, it's more you don't really notice it. You more like feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows you to tailor the data that you're seeing to what you want to do. Whether you're mastering, you might use less precision, but if you're like EQing a room, you might use a lot more precision.
Right.
Sure.
So
Cool.
it's a pretty
That's
cool
sweet.
plugin.
That's sweet.
And we have one video up already, and we will have another video up probably next week. Just because there's a lot you can do with this. There's this whole matrix up here that we didn't even get to in the last video.
Wait, this is a Blue Cat. Is this free?
No, this is one of their paid plugins. You can get it from their site. They're all direct, downloads from the Blue Cat Audio website. So check out the Blue Cat Audio website if you are interested in purchasing any of their plugins, including the FreqAnalyst Pro.
And presently, they're just DirectX and VST, correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Gotcha.
So
Cool.
you got to have
a wrapper
PC.
or a PC. Yeah, PC.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
You could wrap it on Mac.
Don't quote me on this, but I'm not sure. I don't think they work on Mac.
Gotcha. All right, so that's about enough software. We've got a hardware demo to do here. We've got the Fender Blender and Mr. Drew Krag on the Fender TC90.
That's right.
So let's see what we got here.
All right, so here's our clean sound. This is Drew's preset on the pod. All right, and with this pedal, as with a good amount of fuzz pedals that you see out there, as soon as we turn it on, we're going to lose a little volume, even though we got the volume all the way up. So just drops a little bit.
Yep.
So on this setting, I have the sustain up just slightly. The tone is pretty far up, and this is pretty much what makes the Fender Blender a Fender Blender. It has a blend knob. So if we turn that all the way down, which it is right now, it's sort of mixing the fuzzed out tone with with the clean tone.
Right.
And we can see if I start to turn that up, we'll hear more distortion. And turn down the tone real quick. Get that fuzzy sort of thing going on. Turn it up. Get a lot more. And this thing also lets you boost the tone. It's got a tone boost right here. One of the things about it though, no LEDs.
Right.
Notice. So you don't even know if the pedal's on, more or less, if the tone thing is on.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's on or off right now.
Yeah.
you gotta use your ears.
It's off. Sometimes it's hard to tell. You can.
I have to admit, I don't
yourself.
really like that. Especially for the tone boost. Mm-hmm. You really.
It's not that subtle. Here, I'll hit the tone boost. You can kind of tell there.
Just seems to make it a lot louder too.
Yeah. If I turn up the sustain more, that's with the tone boost and the tone all the way up and the blend all the way up. So this is like our nuclear position. All right, I'm going to turn that tone boost off and then turn our tone down. And it definitely gets a lot, warmer, fuzzier.
Right.
Now I'm going to hit the tone boost here. Actually, turn down the tone. So it definitely adds a lot of volume. And if we were plugged into a real amp, it would have a different response. So this is still off and back on. It sounds like with the tone all the way down and the tone boost on. Yeah, turn down a little bit. It seems like we have the tone all the way down and the tone boost on. I'm going to turn it off and turn the tone all the way up. So we never have like a crossing point really, because I have the tone all the way up and the tone boost off, and it's not as distorted or brittle or fuzzed out as it was with the tone boost on and the tone all the way down.
Right.
So that tone boost is really giving you a lot of difference there. Mixed in some of that clean in there.
When you get a lot of gain on it, it almost reminds me the way it kind of cuts out, sort of reminds me of like, it almost reminds me of like the Rat, kind of, not the way the distortion sounds, but the way it kind of cuts.
Yeah, I think a lot of fuzzes do that, but this is with some of the clean mixed in.
Yeah, I can hear it. That's a cool sound.
And with the tone boost on now. So this is the knob that really does it. That makes this a unique pedal. Actually, it's quite similar to one of Britton's pedals. He has the Ampeg Scrambler, I believe it's called. I think it does pretty much the same thing, and it looks very similar.
We should get him to bring that in.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Yep.
If we get him to bring himself in.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
How about some harmonics? Are harmonics working all right?
Oh yeah. Here we go.
I'll help you out a little bit. We speak pretty well, especially since we're going through a amp simulator.
Oh, there we go. There it is. Yeah, if you had this cranked through an amp, it would just be insane.
It would be insane. Probably feedback a lot.
It's a pretty quiet pedal.
Yeah, it is. Turn everything up.
That's not bad.
It isn't. And we have the noise gate off on the pod, so.
And mind you, I'm on a single coil setting, so if I get rid of that.
All right. So it does win points for being quiet.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty quiet.
Nice. Sweet. Well, that's. I think that's pretty good for this pedal. Pretty good sesh. Little knob turning sesh.
Sesh.
Oh, here we go.
Featuring Drew Krag's hands.
Gearwire! Watch our videos!
Yeah.
All right.
That's enough.
That. All right. Well, that concludes Gearwire Crosstalk number 29. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Dan. And thank you guys in the background. You guys are great. You make it all worthwhile. All right. See everybody next week. Later.